Dr. Homebrew is brought to you by 5 Star Chemicals, providing safety and cleaning supplies for brewing, distilling, and winemaking at 5starchemicals.com.
Doctor, look.
Stand aside, nurse. I'm Dr. Homebrew.
Stand clear.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Dr. Homebrew. We're here for the second show in October. It's almost Halloween, and I'm very excited. Thank you very much.
Are we board-certified doctors of Homebrew?
Depends on what spelling of board.
Certified.
B-O-R-E-D certification?
Wow, I turned my mic on to cough. Brian, what beers do we have today? We have some interesting stuff, right?
Yeah, we have a Kviek Saison, or Kviek, I don't know how you say it. Kviek. And a Coconut Imperial Stout. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Two things we've never had before.
Variety.
No, yeah.
I think in Norwegian you just called my mother a horse.
Mm-hmm.
Your mother is a horse.
Oh.
There, I've said it.
In English and Norwegian. This show is brought to you, of course, always by 5 Star Chemicals. Go to 5starchemicals.com and learn about all the offerings they have there to help you make better beer, to improve your beer, to grow and change upwardly with your beer as well. It is a transcendental experience to use our products and to clean with them because they're great and they work. And, why would you scrub when you can just soak stuff in PBW, man? I tell you. Anyway, thanks to 5 Star, 5starchemicals.com. Okay, we're a little under the gun, so I'm going to get on Wade. Now, Wade and his buddy Eric were on the show last month, I believe.
A few shows back, yeah.
Yeah, and they sent a truckload of beer. So I think from now on, every show is just going to have Wade and Eric for, I think, the remainder of the year. They're all booked up.
Yes.
Until the refrigeration.
Welcome to the Wade and Eric Show.
They could just come in
Eric,
studio. We could record like 17 segments in a row.
So we're going to get them both on the line here in just a second. Well, let's just do it right now. Why not? I told them. We're already half an hour late. So,
hey guys.
I apologize for that. I thought you guys were going to judge the beers a little quicker in the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
But Brian the Mouth Shar over here.
Brian the Mouth Shar.
I just will not shut up tonight. What is my problem?
Wade, are you there?
Jokes on us.
Hey, man, sorry about that. Hey. It's Mouth's fault.
Yeah. No worries.
Okay, well, we already got your history and all that kind of stuff before, so let's pick a beer and we'll start it. We'll start judging. Is that cool? Is that cool with you guys? Who wants to go first?
We should probably start.
Let's do Eric first.
Oh, should we just go big?
You want to go big?
Sure.
Is that good with the judges in the room?
Do it any way these guys want to do it.
It's all right. It's not proper beer ordering, but we'll do it.
Yeah, who cares? Let's go.
We've already drank one.
We already did it.
We're 2 hours talking.
Matt, why don't you start us off, dude?
All right. Well, when Brian was pouring these beers out in the glass, one thing that hit me right off the bat was the big tan foam that was in the glass, and then when I got the glass, it was gone. And what I did notice were some little white floaties, and I'm assuming it's
see that head.
Yeah, I'm assuming there's some coconut in there.
Yep. That's correct.
Now, for the aroma, the first thing that hit me was quite a bit of alcoholic heat. Beyond that, I got some nice nutty aspects from this, some light coffee, some toffee, some caramel.
Wow, that foam just dropped. It's like negative foam.
Coconut oil.
Wow.
I'm getting some prune off the nose, but again, some very sharp alcohol aromatics. Appearance, inky black, the way it should be. Like I said, nice thick tan foam, but boy, does it just go away. And the first thing I got on the flavor was sort of this peanutty thing, but and I did get coconut on the aroma, but I didn't get a whole lot of coconut in the flavor. Again, pretty hot. Low to medium bitterness. You know what I wrote? Actually, it reminded me of Turkish coffee.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Over peanut butter toast or something.
Right. A little plummy. Mouthfeel, a very chewy, big, full mouthfeel that finishes nice and dry.
Yeah.
It's not very syrupy at all. Not enough. I mean, for what I thought it would be, based off the appearance, there isn't a whole lot of coconut going on. In spite of the little bits, but it does seem a little young and hot still for an imperial stout. You know, an imperial stout needs to sit and mingle for a little while to come into its own.
Get some experience.
Yeah. I gave this beer a 30. I think it's I give this beer, a few more months, even 6 months, and it'll be a completely different beer. These beers change drastically over time.
Yeah.
And age always nips off those sharp edges. So
I'll be curious to ask the brewer a few questions. And should I ask some questions now, or should I go ahead and give my score sheet?
Go ahead and give your score sheet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I thought that in the aroma, the coconut dominated. Definitely got some roast coffee-like malt in the background, but it was definitely in the background. To the extent there were esters, it was all coconut dominated. I didn't get a lot of harsh alcohol at first, but as it warms up, there's definitely alcohol in the aroma, and it's still, I think overall they gave the aroma 10. Appearance is great. The problem is the head, which is, Jason was saying, man, that goes from like a 3/4 of an inch to 0 in like 10 seconds. And that's got to be the coconut oil. I mean, that's natural. At the end of the day, it's 1 point. You're working with an ingredient like coconut. You know it's going to destroy the head. You just have to live with that. Flavor, I also agree the coconut wasn't as prominent in the flavor. Definitely got up front more of the roast malt / coffee, followed up by some sweet and kind of harsh alcohol, and then coconut. Really well attenuated. It's often hard to get a beer like this to be as dry as this is. A very dry, well attenuated example of this style. So good job on that. Coconut's pleasant, but it doesn't dominate. Mouthfeel is it's warming. It's a little harsh. It's slightly astringent from the alcohol. I think overall it's well done. I think it's got excellent coconut character. Just the harsh alcohol is kind of the real factor here, and I'll be curious, if there is temperature control in the fermentation, because the harsh kind of almost fusel character is kind of symptomatic of a runaway early fermentation where you pitched a lot for a big beer, didn't control the temperature. Temperature may have ran up to 90 plus degrees Fahrenheit. And if you fermented really fast and really hard like that, you can get really good attenuation like this, but end up with some kind of harsh alcohol.
That's what you're getting? I don't get that.
I get some harsh alcohol myself. That's just one man's opinion.
Yeah, that's true. All right, second, Brian.
Sharp,
But first in my heart.
Sharp, strong alcohol in the nose, right up front to me too. The malt, it's a very high malty beer. It's superbly malty, roasty, low coffee, light caramel. There's just no hops in there. There's no hops jumping out at me. And no really bad stuff like DMS, diacetyl. But big kind of warming, not warming my nose, but later on, in the throat, it's a hot. Bigger coconut notes in the nose. Overall, very pleasant, and I like the way it expressed itself there. Again, just dark black pores. That weird head gone. I mean, I'm saying the same things as these other guys, but it has the small. I call them dandruff-like white floaties on the surface, and it just fades to some kind of fine little tan bubbles at the edge. Is all you're left with. That you can kind of rouse a tiny bit, but not really. But it's a bit solventy. The alcohol and the flavor is a bit solventy, and it's. Just a little much. But even so, I still really liked the flavor. It had low bitterness, balanced definitely to the malt. Finishes kind of, semi-dry. There's a little bit of sweetness in there, I would say, still. It's like kind of a semi-sweet chocolate impression. The coconut is a lot lower in the flavor. And you get alcohol and roast lingering in the aftertaste. It's quite full-bodied. Carbonation, well, there's something in there. I guess it's kind of low, medium low. It's there, and it pushes up a good head at the start. But just very warming. But it's still somewhat creamy nonetheless. It's really interesting. But just overall, I would just recommend maybe changing your shampoo. I like Head and Shoulders. But no, it's a wonderfully made Coconut Imperial Stout. It's just too hot. I gave it a 33. I would have liked, if it was all these flavors, maybe pushing up the coconut and the flavor a little more. You could get towards 40 or higher. But it's a fun beer. Still I can sip it. I can't pound it because it's like.
Can you pound any Imperial Stout though?
No.
All right.
Well, you could. You want to try? Should we do it?
I would love it if you guys did that. We have another beer.
1, 2.
I gave it a 33 also. I'm not sure if
Okay.
I gave my score now that I think back.
Yeah. That's a very, very good beer. It's just, it needs a little tuning there, especially on the alcohol thing.
Yeah, Eric, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you did this, how you added the coconut, and, all about it.
Yeah, so this was a really fun beer that I got to do. One of the guys that I work with, another avid homebrewer, he was able to get a Stranahan's whiskey barrel from like his brother-in-law, friend, something like that. So that's where we got our barrel from. And it was a collaboration brew, which was fun because it was the first time I'd ever done something like this with another partner. So I brewed up 20 gallons, he brewed up 30 gallons, and then we let it sit in the barrel for close to a year, actually.
Wow. That changes things out. It's a booze barrel Coconut Imperial Stout.
So I got my 20 gallons back, and then I did a little bit of experimentation with 20 gallons. So 10 gallons I left alone. 5 gallons I did a vanilla version. This 5 gallons I did on cocoa nibs for about 6 weeks before I added 2 pounds of toasted coconut that I did it myself in my oven in my kitchen, and then let that sit for a couple of weeks, and then went ahead and bottled it up. So it was fun. I mean, it was the first time I'd ever done a collaboration. It was the first time I ever done my own toasted coconuts. So it was just really an experimentation more than anything else to see what, see how that process looked like.
Yeah.
How much whiskey was left in that barrel when you filled it up?
So at the time, I had broke my hand after I had brewed. So my friend, the guy that I work with, came over and picked it up. So I have no idea how much whiskey was still left in that barrel.
2/3 full.
He's like, no, it was all dry.
Yeah, now
Don't
that I
worry
taste
about
it, that's probably a good guesstimation.
You're not getting a ton of whiskey.
Yeah, I don't get a ton of
No.
whiskey
I
or
agree, yeah.
barrel for that matter.
Well, the barrel might be dead. It's
No, not in a whiskey barrel because
Well,
it has to be new American
it
oak,
should
I
be
think,
new.
right? Yeah.
You're right. Yeah. Wow.
How much coconut did you use?
I used, in the 5-gallon batch, I used 2 pounds of raw coconut that I toasted in my oven and then added to it. And I let that sit for about 3 weeks in the carboy, and then I bottled it after that.
I think I'm just going to put it out to the field here because you guys know more than I do, but I think that's entirely way too much coconut. And I think what happened is you're getting a lot of astringency and slickness from the oils, and I think it's killing a lot of more subtle flavors in this beer. That's my theory. I think you should put a pound in.
Maybe. I mean, I like...
No, that's what I think. It's not maybe. It's what I think.
Well, that's definitely what you think. But I think, to me, when I have a coconut beer like this, I like to get a lot of coconut. But, I mean, you're not wrong in that, the head is kind of the first example that there's a lot of coconut oil in this beer. And it may be that it's knocking out some of the subtle barrel aspects.
It's congealing on the surface. I've literally never seen that.
A lot of the flavor in coconut is in the oil. That's where all the flavor is, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
makes sense.
if it's congealing on the surface, it's not in the beer.
That's a good point.
So
That's why you can taste it, or you can't taste it.
Well, there's
right.
And that was the thing I had never ever. This is my first time ever using coconut. I haven't used it since this. So
we're gonna put a big red
playing with it to
C
see
on
what would
your chest.
happen, and
Yeah, there's a lot of flavors kind of fighting with each other too. And the coconut, in the aroma you get it, and there's the alcohol and the booze alongside that. But in the flavor you just get that the hot solventy alcohol coming through, and the nibbing and everything else, and it's just like whoa, like fruit bowl impression of. I mean, if chocolate and well, it's chocolate fruit.
And that's the other thing I don't get. It's a seed. It's a seed of a fruit pod, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't get any really cocoa in there either. So, and the only reason I say like maybe it's too much coconut is because if you just eat like a lot of raw coconut, that kind of almost green grassy kind of astringency you kind of get. That's what I'm getting at the end. Like it's very abnormally dry finishing, and it shouldn't be. And I can only blame the coconut because I don't. That's where my scope of knowledge ends.
I drink this beer with a pumpkin pie. This is I think
for sure.
Yeah, I could totally sip this.
Make a reduction with it and use it as a sauce on like some ice cream or something.
Oh yeah,
but the nibs get lost. I agree with you. The nibs just aren't really noticeable in this. And what I would do is I'd just get some Nation's pie and get like some coconut cream, and I would double down on this freaking coconut man, and I would just get coconut pie and drink this, and that would be badass.
Yeah,
I'd put it in a blender and then shove it up my butt. That's what I would do. I don't get the I don't get the nibs, and I don't think I want them in there. To be honest with you, I mean, I'm glad I don't really taste them because of all the other stuff. I want to taste the other. I want to taste more of the beer. You get a lot of beer flavor up front, but that mid palate on, it all just kind of goes away. It tastes like it would be a really cool. Would you mind reading the recipe if you have that?
Yeah. So it is
one bourbon, one Scotch, one beer.
A lot of pale malt, of course. There's a lot of roasted barley in it, and then chocolate malt, Crystal 80, caramel 120, and then actually a little bit of black malt is in the recipes. So, I mean, I can...
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of that toffee character that you get from the...
Our friend Randall in the chat, who works for a brewery, I don't know if he wants me to say, a brewery in L.A., he says they use a pound of coconut per barrel in the brewery.
Okay, toasted coconut or raw coconut?
Probably toasted, I would imagine.
At our brewery.
Yeah, so just
okay,
as a barometer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was, I did a little search around on Google and asked some friends and stuff, and it's where you got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, no, and
go from there.
Don't get me wrong. No one's knocking you for screwing up. Let's be honest. No, no, because you have to work it out for yourself. Honestly, I mean, there's so much information available, especially about homebrewing on the internet. I remember, like in the 2000s when I was really kind of starting homebrewing. I would just make fun of every internet recipe because it's like, okay, it's always going to be just jack to shit because nobody knows what the hell they're doing. Now a lot of people know what they're doing, but there's so many recipes that kind of mirror each other, but then you get kind of the one-offs that don't really know what they're doing, so they go, here's 12 pounds of raspberries in a 4-gallon bag. It's just, it's too much. So you do kind of have to just throw a caution to the wind and be like, you know what, what's really fun to me right now is toasting all this coconut, so I'm going to jam it all in there. And I think that's totally cool. And you had a good time doing it, and that was your first time doing it. I've done it a couple times with beers, and it's fucking awesome. It feels really cool. It's kind of neat. You're really it's another layer to homebrewing that you don't really get most of the time because you're not messing with your ingredients. So don't get us wrong. We're not shaming you or anything, but
no, not at all. It's just that was the fun thing that I had 20 gallons to play around with and did a little experimentation and learn from it and just do better the next time. Not do better the next time, but have fun with it the next time.
Hold on to these bottles for a while, though, man, because I'll tell you what, this is going to get better with time. I really think so.
Too, yeah.
So I have a quick coconut question for you. So did you get shredded coconut, or did you get like whole coconuts and chop them up, or where did you get the source coconut from? Did you climb a tree and get them out of your backyard?
I actually grew the trees myself and waited years for them to start.
And he has a monkey that climbs up the trees.
This has been a beer 20 years in the making.
Just the grocery store, just raw flake coconut, brought them home, toasted in my oven, added the toasted coconut after that.
Nice. Yeah, that's cool. Hey, here's a question. maybe nobody knows. Does coconut... well, first of all, when did you brew this beer, Eric?
This beer was brewed... The base beer itself was brewed probably about a year and a half ago, maybe pushing 2 years.
Wow.
Okay.
It sat in a full 55-gallon barrel for about 8 months or so, and then it's been sitting in the bottle for coming up on a year now.
Okay, so it's been coconutted for about a year?
Yep.
Can coconut oil go rancid?
Yes.
That's what I get a little bit of. Like, because it's not leaving my mouth. And I feel like maybe there's so much that it's kind of turning.
Help preserve it, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, dude, beer is 2 years old. I would have thought 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
It's held up really, really well, the base beer. So kudos to you and your bottling techniques.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you have any questions for anybody else, or did we bang your coconuts a little too hard?
No, we're good, man. I appreciate all your guys' feedback and look forward to my next batch.
How does Wade feel about your coconuts, though? Sorry.
Thanks for sending it in.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It was fun to try.
All right, guys. I tell you what, I'm going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and we'll get to the other beer. Is that cool with you guys?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right. I was talking to the guys on the phone, but.
Hey, you guys on the phone? You okay? Yeah.
Yeah, hang on, guys, for a second. More Beer wants to change your malt game with Viking Malt. Hailing from Northern Europe, Viking Malt is family-owned malt house since 1883 and is the largest specialty malt producer in the world. Their base malts are malted from something called no-LOX varietals that do not contain the enzyme lipooxygenase, which leads to trans-2-nonenal in beer, which is responsible for those stale cardboard flavors. So head over to morebeer.com and brew with ingredients from the future. All right.
I like life in the future.
It's Dr. Homebrew. We'll be right back.
Hello, fellow BNers. This is Sully from the 21st Amendment Brewery located in San Francisco, just 2 blocks from Giants Park. Before Nico and I opened the 21A and before I was a professional brewer, I homebrewed on my small 4-burner apartment stove in a back house in Santa Monica, California, making my extract brews before graduating to the daunting idea of all-grain brewing. Homebrew books and information was hard to come by back then. The internet hadn't been invented yet, along with other things we take for granted today, like electricity and potable water. One thing I wish I had back then when I was learning was a radio show that could teach me the ins and outs of brewing and answer questions that I had about homebrewing, a resource for making great craft beer. The 21st Amendment Brewery is excited to be a proud sponsor of Dr. Homebrew, a great show that teaches you what you need to know about making incredible beer. Good stuff. Listen up, you might learn something. I certainly did. And thanks for your support. Tasty Crack Games.
Now, back to the examination.
All right, thanks for sticking with us, everybody. Before we get to the second beer, which is a name I don't even know how to pronounce, I want to tell you guys that the city of Concord is the perfect place to start or expand your craft beer business. It's centrally located in the Bay Area. It boasts strong craft beer-loving demographics. The city's historic downtown is experiencing a boom with new businesses opening and new apartment developments in the pipeline. So lots of people are going to be living there soon. That's what they're trying to say. Concord's business and industrial parks are centrally located off major freeways and are perfect for large-scale brewery operations. The city's economic development team is ready to help you find a successful location to meet your business needs. Give Brian Donnelly a call at 925-671-3018.
God, if only I had any money or ability to brew well. That sounds like that would be an awesome thing to do.
Brew well?
Exactly. Have money.
I don't know about
Things
it.
like that.
I don't know anything about it.
No.
All right, Wade, it's your turn, dude. Are you there?
I'm here. I'm ready.
Hell yeah. What did you make?
So this Kviek, however you want to pronounce it, Saison.
You did what?
What?
Kviek or Kviek. It's the type of yeast.
It's the type of yeast.
Yeah.
What is it? Give me like a historic rundown. Go.
So this yeast is typically a Norwegian-style yeast. It's wild. This specific strain is Simonitis, which is out of Lithuania. I got it from Milk the Funk Facebook group. The guy was passing it around, so I got a culture of it. It's basically wild yeast. There's some Brett in it. It's got a little bit of lacto, but I have too much hops in this beer to let the lacto go. Okay. So pretty much the wild yeast.
Do you like it? I haven't had it yet. You do like it?
Oh, yeah. This yeast is one of my favorite yeasts right now.
Nice.
It can really tolerate high fermentation temperatures. Yeah. Like this one was fermented at 95 degrees.
I believe it.
Wow. Jeez. Okay. Waiting for more. Yeah. Give me some fucking beer.
Oh,
God. Give me that. Give me this right now. I need it. All right, Brian Cooper, why don't you go ahead and... Actually, let's let the Mouth go first. Mouth, go ahead. Go first.
All right. I got myself a new nickname. That's, I guess not. We'll see if that lasts more than one episode.
Mouth.
So, what's interesting is we judged this beer maybe about a half an hour ago, 45 minutes ago, and it came off, I think, much differently then than it does now. I got then like a much more smoky, sausagey impression, almost with like some soft white cheese, like Havarti or something, and I was not terribly happy with it. We opened a second bottle, and it's a little warmer, and I definitely don't get nearly as much of that in the second bottle. I get more of what I think of as a Saison.
Everyone.
I mean, some of that.
Scores.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some of that smoke. I still get some smoky phenolic. I still get a little cheese, but I get much more of the like the black pepper, the classic black pepper sort of phenol that you expect from a Saison. And maybe it's because it's warmer, or some of those more smoky phenolics have blown off. Or maybe just the second bottle is a little different. That can happen. Were these bottle conditioned or bottled from a keg?
They were beer gunned, so they were bottled from the keg.
Okay, so there shouldn't be any individual bottle differences. So I initially given the aroma a 6, and I'd probably come up to more like a 7 or an 8 based on having a little warmer sample. Color is golden. The beer's a little hazy. Head's low and persistent. Gave it a 2 or 3 for appearance. Definitely get more, again, as it warms up, I get more black pepper. Definitely there's still I get some smoked malt kind of character to it, and a little bit of cheese, but that's not as predominant as it was when it was colder. And it's interesting how temperature can affect what you taste
right.
A lot. I'd initially given it like an 11 out of 10 for flavor. Mouthfeel, body's low, as is the carbonation, which is classic for bottling from a keg, whether a beer gun or anything else. Didn't get really any warming. Wanted more carbonation in this beer. Saison ought to be effervescent. So gave that a 4 out of 5. Initially had the overall impression something that's well attenuated and dry, like a Saison should be, but with sort of some odd smoky phenolics out of this, perhaps from the high fermentation temperature. But I initially scored this at 28, and I think I would come up more to like a 30, 31. In fact, I'm going to just live on air change that to a 31 right this second, based on this second bottle and on the warmer sample. You know, it's an interesting, and I really appreciate getting a chance to try a beer that's made with a yeast I've never even heard of. It's really kind of the essence of homebrewing, right? As you're trying new things and experimenting and getting some yeast from a total stranger off of Facebook and then brewing a beer. I mean, that's pretty bold.
Yeah.
Trusting him enough to do that.
Those smoky phenolics you're talking about, you originally were saying smoked malt, but when you say smoky phenolics, that smacks of like more of a Band-Aidy thing. And I'm not getting a whole lot of that.
Yeah, I'm sorry for not being precise. Yeah. I mean, when I said smoky, what I meant was the phenolic of the smoke gave it to me a real smoked malt character, and not a Band-Aid. I haven't gotten Band-Aid out of this, but I got more like, my initial impression of this was, wow, this is 15-20% smoked malt in this grist. Again, as it warms, I'm just not getting that as much, and the phenols are coming across much more like a black pepper, like you want from a Saison.
Sure. Right off the bat, I got a lot of clove, a lot of black, and you said something about sausagey. I think maybe the spices that you get in a sausage, very clovey, peppery. I was getting a lot of fresh crushed black pepper, clove. But what I was also getting is this very sweet orange peel, sort of orange juice aspect to it. And beyond that, just past that, you get that nice little graham cracker with just a very slight bubblegum ester profile. I really like the aroma quite a bit. Like you said, hazy orange, quite thin but long-lasting foam. The flavor that what stuck out to me most is that very sweet orangey ester, very floral, slightly tart. And when you said that this yeast has sort of a touch of Brett in it, that did kind of bring out sort of those. When you were, Brian, talking about the cheesy flavors you were getting, I'm thinking maybe that's coming from that sort of Brett wild yeast.
It's
aspect.
entirely possible.
Yeah.
I mean, the cheese. When I say cheese, it's very subtle, and it's kind of that soft white.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like the stinky cheese.
Right.
It's just a very subtle, and it's entirely possible that's a Brett character.
Right. I'm getting some lemongrass. The bitterness is not quite where I'd want bitterness to be in a saison. Mouth feels medium dry, spicy, very slight astringency. Now, I found it to be pretty effervescent, especially on that first bottle. I took a sip and it just filled my mouth with foam, with bubbles. Sort of an herbal aftertaste. Overall impression, finishes dry. However, the mid palate is pretty sweet, and I couldn't pinpoint in the beginning whether that sweetness was from the esters or slight under attenuation. But this is a highly attenuative yeast, so I'm assuming it's the ester profile. I would say that increasing your hop bitterness would go a long way to balance that out. And I think this is a very, very pleasant beer. I liked it a lot. However, like I said, the sweetness, and it sits on your tongue, too. It's sort of a cloying sweetness that sits on your tongue for a while. I ended up giving this a 35. I liked it quite a bit. For a beer that's made with a yeast, like Brian said, that I've never heard of before. So...
Of a guy online.
Okay. On Facebook, no less.
Guy with a trench coat on the corner. Hey, what's some Simonitis Kviek, buddy?
He pulled up in a van.
Or a hot watch.
Free yeast.
Free yeast.
All right, Brian.
A few comments. I think, like Brian Mouth, I also liked the second bottle a little bit better. Maybe it's temperature thing. I'm not sure. But, just a big clove-like spiciness in the nose and a lot of different phenols in there. I got almost a medicinal one, but not like a chlorophenolic or anything like that. Just something that comes across like a kind of juniper berry, kind of gin-like spiciness, kind of sharp and up front. Just a little like, hey, here's a freaking, here's some phenol for you, buddy.
Hey.
Like the guy in the corner, yeah. Fruitiness, yeah. Again, just kind of some fun fruitiness in there. Mostly citrusy stuff. And then to me, one of the most interesting things about this beer, I'll get down to overall impression to me, was that the aroma and the flavor are quite different things. The aroma has it's all spiciness and a little fruit. But you get to the flavor, and it's it's still got a high spiciness, but it's paired with this neat kind of cider apple and orangey fruitiness, and it's really high, and it might be coming out a little higher because the bitterness is low. And I do agree that you want to have something as a counterpoint to play off all of that fruit that's there. Although it's not cloying, of course, because it's super dry, but it's just like it's an interesting kind of a little bit of pepperiness in there, but not like a lot of bitterness. So it's a fun beer though. It's kind of mouthfeel wise, medium light bodied, but it feels pretty light and it's easy to drink, and a low smooth warmth. Still slightly creamy. I didn't get a big astringency in it myself, but it's a little biting. Just I think from all the phenolic gets in there. And yeah, the carbonation it's easily roused. You get a little bit of kind of medium plus CO2 there. Well, yeah, I guess the bottom line is I really don't understand this beer. I have to admit it that I've never had a Kviek saison before, and but I'm interested in it and it's fun. So just judging it as a straight 25B, it kind of threw me some curveballs here and there, and I went, landed at a 32 on it, but in all fairness to the beer, I think it probably should be a little higher. And if you entered it as a specialty, saison, with someone who understands this yeast and knows a little better, what it's all about, I think it presents itself well. With a little fine tuning, you get, a pretty good score in there. So, thank you for sharing. It's fun and it's interesting.
I enjoyed it.
Not your typical, not your dad's beer,
Yeah, I totally agree with you that calling this a specialty or a historical, I don't know if this is historical style or not. There in the 2015 guidelines, there are some more places to put this, and it might have done a little better.
What about the recipe? What did you do to it? What is the malts and all the hops and the stuff?
So it's 52% Pilsen malt, 20% white wheat, 15% rye, and then that's the malt bill. Oh, and then there's 4% dextrose.
Okay.
As far as the hop schedule, there's half an ounce or 9.3 IBUs of Magnum at first wort, and I do a 90-minute boil. And then middle fruit, 7.9 IBUs or 3 ounces for this 15-gallon batch at 15, and then 4.8 IBUs at Whirlpool for 20 minutes or 3 ounces. That's pretty much it.
Did you find this yeast to poop out midway through? Because a lot of times with saisons or triples or whatever, it starts to slow down.
At 93 degrees, it was probably plenty.
Yeah.
Just kept on cruising, right?
Yeah. This yeast can handle super high temperatures without creating super off flavors. This yeast was done fermenting in 16 hours.
That is wild, dude.
Wow. Jeez, dude.
Yeah, and it's negative Plato, so it's super low.
It is so dry. Yeah.
Wow.
And then there is some water chemistry on this. I added some chalk and some gypsum just to get it super dry. I think it's like 300 parts per billion or parts per million of water hardness, because I like to have my saisons a little hard, just because it gives you that mouth dryness that I like.
Doesn't come across super minerally, but yeah, it does. I'm sure it's accenting that dryness that's already there. It would be a little different if you didn't have all that.
Yeah, so I did do a little bit of water chemistry. I don't have it in front of me right now, but
I really like this beer.
I do too.
It's a little yeasty, maybe a little yeast kind of thing on the aftertaste, maybe a little bit, but
maybe that's what I was.
And it's kind of getting in the way of like a really enjoyable finish, but I mean, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it was aged for 3 months at 90 degrees in the summer in my garage. I just kind of forgot about it. I had 15 gallons of this, and I split it up into 3 different batches. I did a couple with bottle dregs that are still going, and then some of our house culture at the brewery I work for. So that's kind of still going. I haven't even touched those yet, just because I want those sour. But this one, it turned out well. I bottled it up and entered in the comp, and it won a Pro-Am, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
Wow.
Right.
What bottle dregs did you utilize? Previous iteration of the Kviek?
So, no, that was a separate 5-gallon batch that I did. This one's straight Kviek yeast.
Okay.
There's no bottle dregs on this one.
Gotcha.
The other one, I had a big bottle share, and it was kind of, we like this beer. Throw the dregs in type.
Gotcha.
Sounds like something Brian Cooper would do.
I do crazy stuff, yeah.
There's like 15 bottles in that carboy. It's pretty crazy.
Damn. Yeah, it is interesting because part of me, it's almost like lemony. Like the crisp,
a little bit of citrus in it for sure.
sour. Yeah, and I don't know if I want more of that sour tartness or not.
I would.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, it does have
agreed.
Like, people reported it to have lacto in it. So I think if I cut down the hops a little bit, it would have a little bit more tartness to it. But I kind of like it without the lacto for sure.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I don't know, but it's really interesting. Thank you for sending that.
So Matt, are you gonna source some Kviek for the brewery?
Yeah,
that's the funny thing is with that Pro-Am, I'm gonna bring this wild, crazy Lithuanian yeast into their clean brewery.
How do they feel about that?
So it's with Equinox out of Fort Collins, so I haven't really talked to them about it yet. I was like, so you're going to let me bring this yeast in, right? And they're like, yeah, sure. And I'm like, it's wild, just so you know. Like,
wild and crazy yeast.
They're like, so am I, dude. I get it. I don't know.
Yeah. Suddenly they're like, let's push this brew back a year.
Hopefully the guys at cover up the labels. Oh, why East 1056? Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, perfect.
It's crazy. So hopefully they'll let me use it, but you never know. We have some of it at our brewery that we just got messing around in the back, but we definitely keep it under wraps because it's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, maybe fermenting that at your place.
Be careful messing around too much in the back. I heard some breweries get in trouble there. Yeah.
Do you have any questions, Wade, for the guys, or do we kind of cover everything?
I mean, you guys pretty much covered everything. I guess the one thing, I get the residual sweetness. It's kind of the wort, I think, because this was a pretty sweet wort. It ended up finishing up with, even though it was pretty negative Play-Doh, it finished really coiningly sweet, which I agree with. But it would be interesting to redo this with a little more hops in it just to balance it.
Yeah, I wouldn't go crazy with it. And as we're going along, too, I'm kind of drinking the Kool-Aid on this. I'm kind of enjoying the beer more as we go along and talk about it more. So, it's fun. It's really interesting.
Yeah, definitely do it again. Don't let it sit, because I think there is some yeast bite to it that I don't really... It's weird.
But I think the impression, the sweetness is just the impression of sweetness, obviously, from all the fruit flavors and aromas that are in there that just make it seem sweet and fruity, but it's not sweet at all.
Oh my
God,
God.
So dry.
Tons of milk sugar and a bunch of fruit. Oh, jeez.
You know what's interesting?
Glitter.
Actually,
this beer's missing glitter.
It does sound like that would go really well together, but I'm not going to say it.
We just cracked a can called Pussy Grabs Back from Honolulu Beer Works. It's an extra pale ale made by the Pink Boots Society, Pink Boots Brew. So brewed with a special hop blend for Pink Boots Society.
Cool.
I want to circle back just very briefly before we talk about that. I agree with Brian. It's really unusual that a beer gets better as it warms up. Because usually when they warm up, it's like all the good stuff you've had, and then like when it was colder, the cold was masking off flavors, and the off stuff starts to come out.
True.
This is a really weird example, and I think it's a sign of a well-made beer that as it gets warm, it's actually getting better. And I agree with Brian that I come around to it more as it warms up. So well done. I mean, it's the exact opposite of the way that things typically happen.
It's not starting to taste stale and gnarly.
Exactly.
It's just, that fruit is still in there. Just fruit bowl, fruit punch.
Exactly.
The thing that Brian said, too, with the juniper, the traditional Kviek or Kviek, however you want to pronounce it, beer is actually done with juniper branches in the mash tun.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, like a saute.
Yeah, they do it, juniper branches and then sparge over those. So it's one thing I would definitely want to try is doing a traditional Kviek yeast beer.
Yeah.
It's pretty low. It's like 3% or 2% beer, so it'd be pretty interesting to try.
Yeah, I didn't think there were any tree parts in this, but there's something in the yeast character that expresses itself in a way that probably would accent that nicely. It's interesting.
Oh, I would love to try that.
Yeah, you're in Colorado. You could probably go find spruce out in the mountains and cut some branches down and just like sparge the shit out of that stuff.
I definitely want to try a beer with some spruce tips in it.
Yeah. Throw your mash screen out.
Make it in the woods,
Hey, if you do that, send it in, man. That'd be cool.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, man. We'll let you go.
Cool.
Thank
you, guys.
Thanks, you guys.
Thanks for sending that.
Thanks, guys.
Later. That's cool.
Wow.
I like getting unique stuff here on the show.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't a dual IPA show, for once. So.
Double IPA and double IPA.
Speaking of something else that's cool, you guys, the American Homebrewers Association, which is a member-driven organization that wants to help you save money on beer and brewing supplies. In addition to providing brewing resources and hosting one-of-a-kind events, the AHA offers money-saving discounts at nearly 2,000 destinations around the country through their Member Deals program. Join the AHA at homebrewersassociation.org and make your beer money go further for the beer money. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and we're going to give stuff away. It's Dr. Homebrew. We'll be right back.
Do you know the three most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star San, Santa clean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5 Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5 Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5 Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5 Star treatment today.
Are you a member of the White Labs Customer Club? If not, you should be. It's the easiest way to earn free stuff for turning in your old homebrew labels from either Vials or Pure Pitch. All you have to do is save your labels and redeem them for things like free yeast, an exclusive White Labs t-shirt or sweatshirt, and even the opportunity to brew with the yeast man himself, Chris White. Signing up is easy. Just go to whitelabs.com/customer club, fill out the registration form, and then mail in your labels. They will return the favor by sending you awesome White Labs swag. Go sign up today at whitelabs.com/customer club. White Labs, pure yeast and fermentation since 1995.
I'm sorry to tell you this, but we're going to have to pour you out.
Back to Dr. Homebrew.
All right, everybody, thanks for sticking with us. We're here talking about spruce leaves and mashing with a bunch of shit, and, you know, what are you going to do, right?
It's the type of super geeky talk that we do at the break here in Dr. Homebrew.
Only here on Dr. Homebrew. Hey, if you want to gain a more in-depth knowledge of yeast, join White Labs November 5th and 6th, which are just 1 and 2 days before my birthday, for Yeast Essentials 2.0 in Asheville, North Carolina. This 2-day workshop will explore fermentation control points, tips for maintaining optimal yeast performance, and how to develop desired yeast flavor compounds. Attendees will learn methods for off-flavor detection and sensory evaluation techniques of different strains, as well as how to properly troubleshoot different fermentation problems. If you can't make it to Asheville, that's not a problem. They're offering a webinar, which I hate that word, webinar. They're offering an online version that you can watch for free. It's longer. It's not as concise as webinar, but anyway, register. Well, it's too late now. You missed early bird pricing.
Oh, man.
Damn it.
But anyway, go to whitelabs.com/education and learn yeast handling. And that's cool that they're doing it online. I mean, everything should be online. You should never leave your house.
They're doing the good Lord's work there at White Labs, those guys, I tell you.
If Chris White's listening, he should get some of that Kviek in the homebrew vault.
Yeah.
Dude.
Make that a vault.
I would be surprised if he doesn't have that.
Seems like it's a black market thing right now.
Well, if you got to get it off some guy on Facebook, it's pretty much a black market thing.
What is it called? The dark web?
You can't be sure.
Dark web.
Can't be sure that he didn't just spit in a bucket and say, here's your yeast. Yeah.
I'd like a pound of meth and some DMT, and can I get a few vials of this Kviek too, please?
Got about 100,000 credit card numbers. And
Hey, man, whatever works. Okay, well, let's give away a Grog Tag $40 gift certificate. By the way, Grog Tag is your one-stop homebrew customization shop. They have it all from reusable beer and wine labels to durable metal signs to high-quality coasters, and everything is customizable. Get creative over on grogtag.com with one of their hundreds of templates, and they'll print it on high-quality materials and ship it out to you. So it's good you actually get what you order. It's easy. Check out grogtag.com today and use code BNARMY to save 10% on your next order. Okay, Brian Cooper, who was the winner of the $40 Grog Tag gift certificate?
Well,
while Brian's working that out, I tried Grog Tag for the first time last year for my Christmas stout that I make every year.
Yes.
And I got some actual...
The Don't Pout Stout?
The Don't Pout Stout.
Fuck, see, I know brand recognition here, Brian.
You've known me for a while. I think I brought you some to your house. But
probably. I never drank it, but...
it just gets better over time.
Okay.
I got some Grog Tag labels made, and those were pretty badass.
They're good stuff, dude.
Instead of taking the gold Sharpie and writing the beer name and my name on there, looked really nice.
Yeah,
I like to just put a one-letter initial on the cap, and then in a year I forget what it is,
I have so many beers in my closet that way. Yeah.
Grog tags, dude.
Opens.
What is this MLB beer?
2009 Saison.
Major League Butt. Oh, great.
Yeah, perfect. Just a hint of ass.
Yeah. So the grog tag, getting back to that,
yes.
It goes to Mr. Coconut Beer himself, Eric.
All right, Eric. Good job, dude. Nice work. Good job. Good job, Eric.
You can make a big coconut sign for your garage.
Wow, and last time Wade won, so I'm glad that Eric gets some Johns now, too.
Right on.
All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for tuning into this show. If you want more programming like this, you got to wait till November.
You want to send us beer? Email Brian with an I at thebrewingnetwork.com, and I'll talk to you.
That's right.
I promise I will.
That's right. And we're still working through the backlog, so I think we're up to like January, February of this year. Like we're in this year. We're in the current year.
It's amazing.
So it's pretty good. Anyway, everybody, thanks a lot. If you want to listen to more programming like this, well, you can't because it's pretty much the only one on the entire internet that we do. But we also have other programming on the Brewing Network, like Heads and Tails. If you want to hear Warren and I wax poetic about spirits and try not to get drunk, that's the show.
Hey, you know where I'm going in a month? Lost Spirits in L.A.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Tell them you heard about him on the Brewing Network.
Hell yeah, I am.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody, and we'll talk to you later on Dr. Homebrew. Good night.
Cheers.